Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another podcast. I am here joined with Kat again. We are on, I think, 4. I don't even know what, I've lost count because it's been so much fun. And we are just rolling them out. Kat, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am good. We're sitting here having some fun chats before we actually jumped into it. And that I feel like that gets us like right in the mode immediately, don't you?
I feel like our daily conversations are a literal podcast. So it's like we are here. We embody the podcast.
Everyone loved last week's podcast. It was so funny.
It was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know what the best comments were from you guys. The Victorian toilets. We also have the lemon head.
The lemon
emoji. Were leaving.
Yeah. The lemon emoji. So I can't.
Oh, God. Yeah, thank you for sharing our trauma with us. And I hope that you learned some valuable lessons from that episode.
Turn your Bluetooth off. Turn it all the way off.
Did any of your theater friends see that you spoke about it? Were they laughing?
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. They were like, did you tell the lemon story? And I'm like, here we go. Yes, I did. Never thought I'd be sharing that one publicly, but here we are.
By the way, it was really loud. So like everybody heard you singing on the toilet.
Yeah. I was literally
very short, yes.
I was turning it up because I couldn't hear it.
Oh, so it got
louder. Because I'm in the back of the room, because I'm in the bathroom. Yeah. Oh. And all I just kept singing, I just kept hearing myself sing like, I'm on the toilet at the scenic theater. Yeah, that was the thing.
At least
that
they knew where you were.
Laughed so hard. What's that?
Oh, thank God! I said at least they knew where you were.
They definitely knew where I was. That was very clear.
Thank you.
Very clear.
Oh my God. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. At least they weren't like, "Where's Kat?" No, we know exactly where Kat is. Okay, we know she's busy.
She's busy being a lemon head.
Oh, man. So anyway, it's been amazing. Our numbers are great in the podcast. So I just have to give a huge shout out to all of our fans and followers. I know that Kat and I took, a hiatus together. I was here by myself for quite a while, kind of sharing my story of healing. But now that we've been back, numbers are going up. Holly shared the podcast. Like, I'm just so grateful. Life is really good right now. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it feels really good. And it feels like good things are on the horizon. So
it is. Full moon's today. Full moon's today. Put out your moon water. Yes. Did you say trauma?
What noise?
I swear I thought I heard you say trauma.
Oh, maybe did I? Maybe I did. I don't know.
Well, or there's. I just got clairaudience in my left ear, so maybe it's guides or something.
They're like, yes, trauma.
It's yes. You sounded really serious, like trauma. I was like, what? Why is trauma with the new moon? I was very confused.
The word of the day is trauma.
Always. Trauma. It's always trauma. No. Full moon water. Guys, a reminder, even if we have this podcast posted on Friday, just remember that the full moon energies and new moon energies go up to 3 days. And I think the full moon won't be at its height until 3:44 a.m. Eastern. So anyways, you can still do moon water on Friday night. I always buy like 3 jugs, like gallon jugs of water. And what I do is I'll hold them, I'll sort of talk to the water literally and put in it intentions. So if you want it to be beauty water or glamour water or, help you with health or help you with fitness, whatever, sort of whisper it into that water, set it out in the moon overnight. Make sure you don't leave it out too long. You don't want the heat to cause the water to go dank, but bring it in first thing in the morning. And I use it for everything. You can use it for, work to protection on your front doors or windows, cleaning on windows. You can use it for, I actually add like crystals to mine for spraying and energizing things in my beauty room. I add like rose quartz pebbles to it from Amazon. You can charge those as well. So anyway, I just wanted to tell everybody, please use your moon water. You can charge moon water twice a month, full moon and new moon. And I use it for everything. You can drink it. You can just don't be dehydrated.
Bathe in it.
Yeah, you could bathe in it. That'd be a lot of
moon bath.
You can. Yeah, you can put a cup of it in your bath water for sure. For sure. I love all those rituals though, don't you?
Me too. Like rose moon water.
Yeah, sometimes I'll even add a little bit of like rose water, rose oil, rose essence or something. Or you can do cinnamon to make you feel spicy. You know what I mean?
Rose oil. Ooh, yeah.
Ugh, my favorite.
That's
so
where
anyway,
it's at.
we'll have to do a witchy podcast sometime and talk about all that stuff.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
That would be so fun. So, man, we're just gonna hang out again because there wasn't really a whole lot of paranormal this week. Did you see much going on online? I didn't see a whole lot.
No, not really. Not since last week.
It's finally dying down. Praise Satan.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Oh, I'm just tired of hearing about all of it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, the paranormal community needed a break.
Man, I just can't even May felt like it was January, never ending.
Yeah, I can't believe we're already in June.
I know.
It's wild.
That is crazy. It's hot here too in Vegas. Oh my God. I'm like, oh, I can't stand the heat here in the summer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So I have been dealing with something interesting for the past week, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about. And Kat, is welcome to chime in, if she wants to share. If she doesn't, that's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about 3 things that kind of coincide all together. So I want to start with haters, then I want to go into astrology, and then I want to talk about what soulmates are and karmic partners. I'm not really going to touch on twin flames today. I have a really specific podcast that I'd like to do for that because my views on that are very, very different than what the general public says about twin flames. So that would need to be a podcast in itself. It's also information from my guides. So it's way too much to fit in here. But I do think it would be kind of cool to talk about soulmates, karmic partners, because that can be more than just romantically. It can also be friendships. It can be work coworkers. It can be family, right?
True.
I mean, I've had I've had karmic family members as well. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
really going through that right now. Woo, Jesus.
I'm already sweating. It's fine.
I do want to touch on that, but I'm not going to name names. But, let's talk first about haters.
Let's do it. Haterade.
Yeah, there's different levels of haters, okay? And I think people kind of forget that there's different levels. I've been on the internet for so long, right? Since 2011, essentially. And, think about yourself. Do you have a celebrity that you dislike? Obviously for mine, it's Logan Paul, obviously.
Mm-hmm. That'd have to be a close second.
Okay, well, yeah, that's true. I shouldn't have even asked that. I
yeah.
Dumb. Yeah. So, but when it comes to someone that I don't like, when I really genuinely say, I really don't like him for obvious reasons, he ruined the paranormal community online with the whole forest issue. We're not going to say a name because we're not going to get banned here. But I don't watch anything he does. So when I say I'm his hater, I mean it in a sense of I don't ever want to see his face again or hear his voice. Is that how you feel?
Literally never, ever again. Thank you.
Yeah. If I see him on podcasts or or online, I will literally block whatever he was. I just don't want to see it. That's literally my definition of I don't want to be in his energy. I don't want him in my energy, period. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously,
you don't want to
it's
engage
personal.
with it.
Mm-hmm. And then there's another level of haters, which I feel like people don't realize, which is these are the people that watch your content constantly. They'll leave bad. Often they will be the first one to watch and upload, right? They usually have the notifications turned on. Sometimes they leave a trolling comment that's 4 paragraphs long. They'll troll your other fans. They report back to your hater club, everything you said, and you have to discuss it and negotiate it. The problem with these people is they're not actually haters. They're actually your biggest fans. Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, a little stalkerish, but also be your biggest fan. Absolutely.
Right. Oh, yeah. I'm not bragging by any means. I'm not saying yay, I love these people,
No,
but,
no.
No, but I do feel in unfortunate circumstances, oftentimes haters, yes, they can be random people online, but they can be past friendships, karmic friendships. They can be karmic partners that you worked with before at jobs or your own job. People that just envy you for some reason and sort of can't let you go.
Yeah. Those are the worst ones, too. I feel like it's because, too, these people you feel like you knew, or that you thought knew you.
It feels personal.
Yeah. Very vindictive and personal.
Yeah, because it's you were, if it was a friend at one point, then private information about each other. And I'm the kind of person that when a friendship ends, it's just okay, bye.
Right.
I'm not going to hold on. Like, it's, oftentimes I believe friendships will end due to mutual issues. It's never really one-sided per se, unless someone really screws someone over. But when it ends, it's like, okay, just like let it go. It's over. But I think there's a different factor that gets stirred in when you're a public figure, or when someone sees that you're having success, and it does become that envious, jealous little monster that they can't sort of put away.
100% accurate.
Think? I mean, yeah. I mean, and it sucks. You've even experienced it with opera and theater, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. The shade is real. And it just kind of comes down to not really getting to know somebody to like their fullest extent. And it's a lot of the times, insecurities being projected.
So I started my week out last week, or what, I don't remember when it was. Anyway, I heard from someone who I would have, considered a karmic friendship. And I was kind of shocked by that because I think that when you bury the friendship like that, and it's been, God, years at this point, hasn't it, Kat?
It's been a while. It's been a hot minute.
Really? Yeah, I mean, more than 5 years, probably, right? I mean, it's 2025. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, then that's kind of the proof that your haters aren't your actual haters. It's like they actually envy you, and they are jealous, and they wish they had what you had. And then when they see you finally gaining success or notoriety, they're going to pop back in and be like, oh, I actually was a fan the whole time. I love and support everything she's doing. And I'm like, wait a second, that's not actually accurate.
Yeah, it's not the full story. Yeah. And it's hurtful to see that because it's like, real feelings were hurt. Not nice things were said. Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to kind of talk about astrology on this. I'm bringing this up because you and I actually, we touched on this today, and I was kind of laughing. Kat we're both so like intuitive and like psychic abilities. Kat is the kind, though, that she will just blurt that shit out, and she doesn't realize what she's saying.
Yeah. The Libra moon in me.
She'll just blurt it out. And you have a 12th house moon, right?
Yes.
Which is very psychic. I have an 8th house moon. So together we're like on fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So today she was on the phone with me, and she brought something up, and I hadn't gone over this list with her. And it was about, soulmates, karmic partners. And she was talking about how I get stalkers really easy. Do you remember when you said that earlier?
Yep, I do.
See, you didn't know we were going to talk about it, did you?
No, I do not. Sometimes these things happen.
Yeah, I was on the phone, and I was like, how does she know? How did she know?
It's like she's looking around. Is she
I'm
here?
like, did you go through my phone? Did you know? Did you find the list of my phone? What's going on?
Did you enter my Verizon wireless? Please.
Well, and you're also understanding of this because often 12th house moons will have similar stalking issues, because if you have a major placement in the 12th house in astrology, you are very it's the house of spiritualism, quite literally. And Kat's inner child or inner self, her moon, lives there.
It's definitely living there. Kind of cozy.
Definitely there. Well, yeah, and Kat's so in tune too. Like she'll get information and call me, like, I just heard this happen, like in my head, and then all of a sudden, a couple days later, it'll happen. Yeah, but people get very envious of that. I think when you sort of live in the light, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, and also your authenticity.
True.
I think there are a lot of people that are envious of that because they don't know who they are, so they're envious of you knowing who you are, and they want that. But it's like, you don't want to be me because you should be yourself. Always. That's the part about being a misfit, I think, is being weird and unique, and you don't need to be like anybody because there's only one of you. And I think that's more important to just be weird and awkward. But you're right. A lot of people don't have the confidence to allow that. I always say, let your freak flag fly. Yes. I love that.
Right?
It's very Lady Gaga-esque.
Is it? Okay. Well,
yeah, I love
maybe
that.
I'm channeling Mama Gaga. What's her? How
Mama
do they call her?
Gaga.
Mama Gaga.
I love that. Oh my god.
Is that? Can we call her Mama Gaga?
That's awesome. I love that.
So I did some research because I've been having, and we're going to talk about this today. We're going to get raw and dirty. Kat knows what's going on. Okay.
Yeah.
Please, Kat. I know that you're a Scorpio rising, but please try to leave names out because I know you get on fire sometimes.
Yeah, I'll leave. Thank you for the reminder.
Also, I'd love to add that she's like, I took notes on this. And I'm like, wow, that's really your Aquarius. That is your Aquarius. Wow.
Kat loves my Aquarius moon.
I do. Okay? And I call it out when it happens on the phone. We're in the middle. I'm like, oh boy, her Aquarius is out. Oh boy.
Here comes her Aquarius, everybody.
The Cancer's out.
She sent me something the other night, and it was like a paragraph, and I went through it line by line and responded with like emojis, highlighted commentary. Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Like, how Aquarius of you. And I was like, thank you very much. I really appreciate that, honestly.
It's true. Krystal needs a monocle at all times, just like a fancy, spooky monocle.
Do you think so? Because of the way
that'd be cute.
I respond?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. You just need to, endorsement.
It's true. I mean, that's why I really just preach astrology, because if people could just read and understand their charts, it's so freaking accurate. Like, Kat, you're an Aries sun. Like, you are on fire. Your Scorpio comes out, she'll zap ya, but like you won't see it coming, and all of a sudden it's a zap. You know what I mean?
It's a
zap. And then her Libra moon is like, I just want to keep balance. I just want everyone to be beautiful and love each other. And then someone makes her mad, and she's like, Scorpio.
Stab. Okay, now that's done. Moving on to the next. Yeah.
And everybody thinks Kat's the nice one. Just keep that in mind.
I am until you cross me or across family and friends.
Yeah, it's true. Well, yeah, but with your Aries sun, you're just much more heated than I am. Like, I'm a Taurus sun, right? So I'm a ride or die. I am that friend. Kat knows it too. Like, Kat and I could be, we're like sisters. We tiff sometimes, whatever. It's family. But she knows that even if we were tiffing and she called me and she needed me, I'd be up there in 5 seconds. Such a Taurus ride or die. But then my Aquarius is analytical, right? So I'm like analytical. I got to think things through. I got to really examine. Yeah, I explain myself before I get angry.
Yes. Oh my gosh, remember the Hall of Faces?
Oh, do you? I mean,
I think we talked about this once before, but we don't have to get into detail. But it was so funny. She looks at me and
you tell the story better. So
she slow-mo turns around. Something had happened at this club in Vegas, and I told her about it. My interaction with someone, and she slowly turns around and looks at me in this like hall of faces. Literally, not even kidding you. The wallpaper was like faces. It was weird. And she was like, I'm about to do something and I need you to trust me. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, what's gonna happen? And then she disappeared. And I was like, oh crap. I was like, where'd she go? It was hilarious.
And it got taken care of. Club like Moses. I parted the club
in those platform boots. She was not messing around.
Like, and that's the thing that people don't get with me. If you're a Taurus out there, you're gonna know, right? Like, I'm also a Cancer rising, which is ultimate femininity. I'm ruled by the moon. It's the divine feminine. Like I love everything girly. I love fashion. I love makeup, and I come across as this very just like. Yes, eccentric, but like feminine. But then like you piss me off and my Taurus comes out, which by the way takes a lot. And I will run you over like a bull in a china cabinet, and people don't see it coming.
Yeah.
So Kat's like a fast burn. I'm a slow burn. And I'm scary when I get to that point. There's not a lot of people on this planet that have seen me get to that point. You are blessed to be one. You've seen it a few times.
I'm honored, honestly. Thank you.
You're so honored. Yes,
thank you. I'll be here all week. And yeah, it's a badge of honor.
It's true. And I don't like to get to that point. Yeah, we were in this club.
It takes a long time.
And it does. And I was so pissed at what happened. I walked through this club, guys, and there was hundreds of people. And I didn't say a word, and everyone got out of my way. I mean, I literally parted the whole club, and Kat was shocked because they knew I was on a rampage, and I was about to take somebody out.
Somebody was about to be taken out, and
Someone's gonna die. So,
they did.
Anyway, let's now that we're done with the violence. Okay,
yes.
Just like
sorry, it was my Aries son.
Well, she's a Scorpio. It's weird because we do get along so well. Well, I have a lot of Aries placements, and I think all of my close best friends and even guys I've dated have had major Aries placements. So I'm not shocked I vibe with Kat. I'm just not shocked. But she is a Scorpio rising. I'm a Cancer rising. We're both ruled by the moon.
and we both have psychic. I'm sorry, we're not both ruled by the moon. We're both ruled by water, and we both have very psychic moons. So I think that's why we're so like I've had dreams, and I've told Kat that we've been sisters in past lives. I've adopted her. She's in my lives. She's always like my little sister. And I still kind of treat you like that. And I'm not trying to sound like you're naive. I'm like, I will kill you if you hurt her. I will chop you in the throat.
Literally sidestepping crab, right?
That's what Kat says. So I say Kat has a stinger, and she says I'm the sidestepping crab. There's a meme that I actually sent her that's a crab with a knife. And when I'm mad, I sent her that meme.
It's hilarious. And I'm like, oh, and then I call and we discuss it.
What's wrong? Is everything okay? Yes, it's great.
My Libra moon comes out and it's like, okay, namaste. What's going on?
Let's just calm everybody down. But I did do research for real. So the moon in the 8th house, which is where my moon is conjunct Jupiter, which means I'm also making money off the dead. Wow, that's pretty accurate. I don't know how much more accurate you can make.
Yeah.
I know, right? But and I'm not going to go into super like long, extensive, discussions about this, but it says the moon means that your emotions are deep. You're very private and powerful. Others feel that. It's like they sense your soul is a locked diary and they obsess over finding the key. Isn't that an accurate description?
Wow. That's like really in depth.
How these people, you've seen the issues I've had with people just can't let go.
Yeah. It's the most bizarre thing.
It is. Josh said something really good the other day. What did he say? He said it was like when people can't let go of you, it's like they want to wear your skin.
Ooh, it's like some Ed Gein stuff. I don't like that.
Isn't that weird?
Ooh, that reminds me of Ed Gein. Nope.
That's so weird. The audio just like moved. I don't know why it moved. Hey,
great.
I can barely hear you. That's spiritual interference, 100%.
You can barely hear me?
Okay, dude. The microphone volume button got turned all the way down on my mic, on my Yeti.
Whoa. They don't like me talking about Ed Gein, apparently.
Is that what you just said?
Yeah, I was just talking about Ed Gein.
What did you say?
I just said, ew, that's some Ed Gein stuff. About like wearing the skin.
Wearing the skin, yeah. Serial killer
yeah,
weird
I'm like,
stuff.
well, maybe he shouldn't have been wearing people's skin and maybe he wouldn't be gross.
It's so true, though. That was really bad. That was really bad. So, stalker magnet is what it says. When you have a moon in the 8th house, people try to possess or emotionally control you, often under the guise of love or fascination.
Yeah.
I mean, it's creepy, right? So then I was like, detect the rest of my, chart because I wanted to know what else is in there. So I have a 10th house stellium in Aries, and I have some dark placements there. Lilith, Venus, Mercury, Midhaven, part of Fortune. They're all in Aries. Lilith being in the 10th house of Aries is especially dark because that's often a placement for sex workers. Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, well, remember when we were trying to get signed and all those producers kept asking me if I would sleep with them, they would sign the series?
Oh my gosh, wow.
See?
Yep.
Yeah, I know. So it says Lilith being here, you're a dark divine feminine and you're feared and fetishized.
That explains the hyperfixation on a lot of people.
I know. Isn't that weird, though? It just creeps me out. Like, I was telling Kat today on the phone, I'm going through some issues right now where I have some karmic ties I'm trying to tie up, essentially. And it's people that I've extinguished from my life many years ago. We'll talk in depth about a couple. But they came back around again. And it's like, there's one person, it's a family member in particular. I've only met one time my whole life when I was 13. I haven't ever seen them since.
Yeah.
And this person is just obsessed with me. Can't let it go. And it's very odd. So anyway, reading about Lilith in the 10th house, it says this is a stalker magnet. Obsession through fame or notoriety. People project their fantasies onto your public persona, especially with Aries energy, because you come across raw, bold, untouchable. Stalkers often emerge here from fans or industry peers.
Industry. Wow. That's eerily accurate.
See,
wow.
I know. That's why I wanted to talk to you about it because what's been happening. You know what I'm saying?
That is wildly accurate.
And then I have Mars and Chiron in the 12th house, of Gemini. So Mars is essentially how you fight, how you negotiate, how you think. Because it's in Gemini, that means I think very quickly. That's probably why I'm really good at negotiating. That's probably why I'm good at legality contracts. That's probably why I'm in the production side of film, that I understand contracts. I absorb information, even legal information, like a sponge, but it's also
Like
hidden energies. It's sort of subconscious. And with Chiron being there, Chiron represents the wounded healer, right? So basically, Mars equals secret enemies, hidden aggression. Chiron wound is around masculine energy, danger, or betrayal. So this is also a stalker magnet. It says people may fixate on you silently, as obsessed from you from afar, and you might attract people who never reveal themselves until it's too late.
Interesting. Wow.
Isn't that, see? I know. This is why I wanted to talk to you, because I was like, Kat's going to actually, I know you like my Aquarius.
Yeah, I do.
You know?
There's a lot of good, there's a lot of good information that comes out with the Aquarius.
And then my 5th house is ruled by Scorpio. I have a stellium there. And this says that it's also a stalker magnet.
Oh,
and it says that it's Xers. What's an Xer?
I don't know. Just look that up.
It's exes who never let go. People obsessed with your energy, not just your body, but obsessed lovers tied to past lives or power imbalances. So anyway, and there's, I also have my sun and North Node in the 11th house, which is very public personality. I have a lot of fame placements as well. But I literally got this. It was like, please carry obsidian or black tourmaline with you to shield your energy.
No kidding.
It was like,
oh my gosh.
People really like to fall in love with you. But anyway, there was another thing that I had asked. I was talking about having karmic ties to family members. And I was asking this to AI, basically, to study my chart. And it said that karmic soul contracts will probably show up in the 5th house of Scorpio, especially since he's obsessively fixated on you. He may have mistaken your shared bloodline for permission to energetically own you, which is very Pluto, Saturn, South Node territory. His inability to let go is likely a past life residue.
Ooh, wow. That's eerily descriptive. Yeah.
Isn't that? I know. And then it's also just gave me one last thing where it said, a family member who hides their true intentions and lashes out passive aggressively in controlling or manipulative ways. They operate in the shadows and play psychological games. This is due to your 12th house placements. You've been wounded by his masculine energy in a way that stung and buried itself deep in your psyche. So it's basically saying that it could be past life, it could be this life, but he's trying to psychologically sort of attack me because he can't get to me any other way. So
that all makes a lot of sense.
Well, it does make sense, and it's just interesting that this can all be seen sort of through your soul contract, through astrology, which is what I find so fascinating.
Yeah, it's like the blueprint of your life, essentially. And it's eerily accurate. Very eerily accurate. I remember one of the first things you were telling me when you were looking at my chart and breaking it down was that, a lot of people think that astrologers are psychic because of how accurate the readings are, but they're literally just reading your chart based off of planets and, all of that. So... yeah, it's very cool.
It can show your deepest wounds. It can show, how you're attracting the same partners sort of over and over again. Like, it can show a lot.
Yeah.
It can show a lot. Yep. Even, negative things within yourself, positive things within yourself, what you should focus on. My Mars in Gemini makes me think fast, but I often am an overthinker. I think that I have to have things perfectly before I, post them. So that's something I've had to work on because I'm like, no. And then my Aries is so on fire in 10,000. I'm like, no, don't think, go.
Yeah.
It's like... Can I just have a balance, please? Can I just have a balance? Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah, that's so wild.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's very,
so
I love
want
astrology.
to talk about soulmates and karmic partners because not every, and you can get juicy or not. I don't care what you want to talk about, but is there somebody in your past of a relationship romantically that you're, or a friend, doesn't have to be romantic, but that you kept sort of just breaking up with that person and trying to go back and fix it?
and it just never worked.
I think definitely friendship for sure. Mm-hmm. In childhood,
what was that
friendship
like? Is
specifically,
it like going back
until
and
the door
going
was
back
just back and forth. Yeah, really bad toxic behaviors, and then something happened and never spoke to them again.
Wow.
Dropped them off at their house, hugged them, and then never spoke to them again. It was like I never existed.
But the grand finale is so uncomfortable, even though you're prepared for it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very difficult to like break away from that because, you do feel some type of soul connection to the person, like with this friend, she and I had known each other since we were 10 and practically grew up together, family friend eventually. And then she lived with my family for a little bit too. And, it's always very stark when those endings happen. Because I feel like there's a lot of endings that happen until there's like the big culmination of the final one. And it's just a constant like death and rebirth. And typically, usually what happens, at least from what I've noticed, is like one person grows from it and puts up the boundary, and the other person just continues the same pattern. And I was the person that grew from it and was like, I can't deal with this anymore. I can't tolerate this anymore. I can't watch you go through this anymore. And you're not doing anything else to like serve you, like to help you. And I can't do it for you. So I had to go. And, there was, I won't get into full detail, but there was a physical altercation that was done to me from her.
Like a physical altercation?
Yeah. And she was under the influence. So, I'm sure that was not helpful either, but that was definitely a karmic friendship for sure. That needed to come to an end.
It's just so painful. I have a friend that's like that, and I've known for many years. She has a lot of religious trauma, unfortunately.
Yes, same for her.
Yeah, and it's like hard because you have religious trauma, but you do get at a crossroads where you get to decide: do I heal and like what?
What did you just say? Cut out completely.
Did it really?
Yeah, I heard you, and then it cut out.
How weird! It said that. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. I said that you come to a crossroads where you can either heal and like live a productive life, or you can go the other way and you just spiral. And unfortunately, I think more people spiral and not make it out than they actually heal.
Yeah. And I think that comes from a place of comfortability. I think people are sometimes a little bit more comfortable in their own trauma and all the negative that's happened to them because that's all they've ever known. And anything outside of that is incredibly difficult because it's like not something that they can wrap their head around. Is that like, wow, no toxicity, nothing bad is happening. Like that's uncomfortable to me because I've never experienced that. But the truth is that's going to be the thing to save you is doing the uncomfortable thing to get comfy, So yeah, it's always hard to see someone you care about, go through it for sure.
Yeah, I had this friend, like I said, for years, and she had religious trauma, and she also had some substance abuse issues. I'm not going to go into detail either, because honestly, I still love her. I don't wish her ill. You know what I mean? Like, I wish she could live a great, productive life. But she had pretty much privilege. Like, it's just so weird to me because me growing up, the biggest problem my family or my mom and I had was she was a single parent. So money was always a factor, we definitely weren't broke, but it was just always a struggle. It was always like, how are we going to get the next bills paid? And for her, it was like she had both parents still married, obviously religious, Catholic. Her parents are still in the house today that she grew up in. She's going to have a huge inheritance. Like she didn't have she had different struggles, and it was all psychological based on, she went to a religious school, when she was younger, and she was kind of withheld from, boys. And then she kind of went boy crazy when we got older. And that led to, it was almost like the religious school, she would get hit with rulers and stuff like that. And it almost did the opposite, where she got really heavily into like dark BDSM stuff, like really dark stuff, sleeping with strangers to sort of get a high. And just doing really reckless, dangerous stuff, substances. And I was constantly bailing her out or like trying to save her. And she finally kind of made it over that molehill. But then she kind of like went into like a sex addiction. And I had to witness that. And then there was one instance that happened. I mean, she was sober, by the way, having this addiction where she was sleeping with random men. And one night she met this guy at a club and went back to a hotel with him. Of course, she paid for it. She had a lot of money. And she woke up the next day unconscious. He had like knocked her out unconscious. She had 2 black eyes. Her keys, her cell phone, her wallet were missing, and her brand new car.
Wow.
And she calls me and she's with the police and she's crying. Luckily, they had like a LoJack on it. So they found her car. They actually ended up catching the guy. They got her wallet, everything. That was lucky. That was
very lucky.
And she may not have woken up.
Wow.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, you know, she could have died, you know? And so I had this like really serious convo with her and I was like, I love you so much and I don't want to see you die. Like you're going to end up in a dumpster. And like, and you know what the worst part was is her parents were very religious and they liked me only because I'd known her for so long, but they did not like that I was in paranormal even at that time. They did not like my spooky stuff.
That's weird.
But because they knew me, she used me for everything. So anytime she went out with a guy, she told her parents she was with me. And I was like, you can't tell them that because if you are dead somewhere, they're going to think I was a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to put you in a difficult position.
Yeah. And so she went on and she, you know, she's still to this day, I mean, I haven't talked to her in a very, very long time, but she's still just in really toxic relationships with men. And she ends up being the caretaker of these guys because she's got money and she finds guys that have really terrible records who've been in prison and have no credit. And like she has no self-worth. And it's hard. You're right. It's what you said. I can't sit here and watch someone destroy themselves.
Yeah. It's really difficult to put up that boundary. For sure. Yeah.
It's hard to stay and watch, and it's hard to walk away. It's like there's no happy middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, because you have empathy. You know what I mean? We want to help. I just kicked my tripod on accidentally. Sorry. Yeah, if we have empathy, and it's difficult to leave someone in a difficult situation like that. But sometimes you have no choice because you've exhausted every other option to try to support them and have them support themselves. And they just, if they won't, then what can you do? You know?
It's true. I also had to look, you know, when I was healing this like past few years from my mom, I also had to look in the mirror because I'm a Cancer rising. So I can be a pushover. I can be pushed over very easily, or I used to be. Let's say the past version of myself was. A lot of people know I'm very nice. I'm extremely forgiving. I'm the kind that like mi casa su casa, like quite literally, I'll give you the shirt off my back. And I realized through a lot of those karmic relationships and friendships, it was being very much abused on that side of them just taking advantage of me financially, every other way under the sun. And I knew that in order to go into this next version of myself, I was going to have to heal that girl that thinks she's kind of like my mom. My mom was a Cancer moon, so she tried to save everybody. And so I often have rose-colored glasses, or the past version of myself had rose-colored glasses looking at people and seeing the best potential that they could have. But like that, the version I was witnessing, whether it was friendship or love, wasn't the version that was in front of me. I had to learn how to just pop those rose-colored glasses off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really great way to put that.
I had a boyfriend. I want to get into some deets because I feel like people are going to want that.
Let's do it.
Okay. Kat knows all my relationships at this point. She doesn't even care.
I've read the book like 3 times, so.
Yeah. Jesus. Oh God, I want to say his name, but I'm just not going to for respect. But
okay. There
was a guy that I was with. I started like in my early 20s, and I was just. It's not Christian. It's not Christian. It starts with a G. You know how I'm talking about. It starts with a G. He was the Aries. Yes. Okay. Yes. And it was like a really fast burning relationship. Do you know what I mean? So. He was an Aries sun, and he also had a Taurus moon, so that just our love language was like perfect. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But he was like, I was like more independent than him. I had my own place, and like within a couple of months, he was living with me. Terrible idea, by the way. Terrible idea.
Don't do that, folks.
Please don't do that. Learn that lesson.
So please don't live by my example. No.
Please do not take my advice when it comes to that. Okay.
Please, your discretion is advised. Like, you know, disregard this.
But looking back, you know, I do believe things we go through, even if they're bad or bad experiences, aren't bad. They're just learning. And that was very much a learning relation. Yeah. I learned a lot.
Your eyes like,
I learned so much. You know what I mean? Like, but he ended up moving in with me, and like I've always been a hard worker, and I was a hairstylist. I was a manager at a salon in Cherry Creek. I was working with bands. That was my big thing. I was traveling with bands. Like, I was making really big money for my early 20s. You know, I drove a brand new Mustang. Like, I looked pretty good on the outside.
Fancy.
And he moves in with me and decides he's just going to not pay bills.
Oh, no.
And he becomes addicted to World of Warcraft.
Oh, no. Good old WoW. That's what happens with that game.
Got really addicted to WoW. No, and I wish I was joking.
No, I believe you. Yeah.
I wish I was joking.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm having a flashback.
It's flashing before her eyes.
I'm having a flashback. No, but anyway, so he stopped working, and I decided to be like the good girl. You know, I think that when you're young and like you're trying to make a relationship work, you're going to do whatever you can to make it work. So of course I was like willing to pay his bills, which really was just like his cell phone and his car insurance car. But that was like an extra, you know, $300 for the car, $300 for insurance because you're young, so insurance is high. Plus his cell phone is $100. So I mean, I was like really paying to like keep this man in my life, and I was like, dude, you've got to like get a job. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
He had a lot of friends. He was very social because he was an Aries sun, and I get it. That's how y'all are. I know. I've accepted it and moved on. You know what I mean?
True. Yes.
I'm a Taurus, and I just want to sit at home by myself with my Cancer rising. You know what I mean?
Your sidestepping crap.
And talk about aliens with my Aquarius.
I love that. Me. Yes, it is.
But he had a lot of Aries often have huge friend groups, which is Cat does too. It's okay. That's how it is. And he had a girl that I just was very suspicious of. Do you know what I'm saying? I was very suspicious. And I could tell when we were at these gatherings, at this point we're together for like a year. I could tell at these gatherings that she just eyeballed me. I think that she was jealous. I mean, I dressed really nice. I had a new car. I had my shit together. Like, he didn't, but I did. You know what I mean? And I think that, of course, no one knew that. Like, we weren't displaying our, like, financials everywhere. No one knew who was really making the money, even though it was this hoe. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think she saw him and, like, wanted my life, basically. So I was always just very suspicious. I'll use her name. Her name was Susie. It doesn't matter. No one's going to know who she is.
Good old Susie.
Fucking Susie.
Fucking Susie. Crazy ass, man.
So he comes home one night, and she had a lot of hobbies apparently. And she had this like glass jar that was probably like 1.5 feet tall, quite large. And it was a star jar, and it was full of little Chinese stars that she had made by hand. Do you know how long that took?
I was like, what hobbies are these?
And she had written fortunes on each one for him.
Oh.
And she told him to open one every day. Well, he decided to not open it, obviously. But I was like, I don't want that in my house. I was like, I'm paying our bills. You're sitting here on your ass playing WoW. I don't want that in my house.
Right.
And he was mad at me, but I've always been just so in tune with energy. I was like, I don't like her. I don't trust her. Whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he always assured me nothing was happening, you know, and we lived in like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, like townhome at the time. So I had gone out of town one weekend. I was doing hairstyling, makeup, personal assistant work for bands. Okay. I went out of town with this band to actually Las Vegas, and I was there for a few days. And the band obviously had a lot of money because they were signed to a major record deal, blah, blah, blah. I was there on a shoot for a music video, and you know, things just wrapped up quick, and I got to fly home a day early.
There you go. That's awesome.
And they paid for it. Like, it's not like I had to pay for it out of pocket. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I don't know why he had planned on being somewhere that weekend. I think he was going. Once again, he was very social, so like I just assumed he wasn't going to be home. I didn't tell him I was coming home early because I didn't think he was going to be there anyways.
Right.
Do you see where I'm going with this?
Unfortunately.
So I get on the plane. I'm really excited. I mean, I'm on a high from being like, I'm doing what I love. I'm doing hair and makeup and work with bands, lead singers. Like, it's just so much fun. It's grunge, it's rock, it's metal, it's goth, it's alt. You know what I mean?
Travel.
And I come home and I noticed there is a car in the driveway that I don't recognize.
Mm.
And it's like a white car. And I have no clue who it is. And I was like, well, that's odd because I didn't think he's going to be home. So
Right.
I walk in the door and he has her bent over the couch.
Oh my God. I have walked in on someone before, so
You did?
I completely.
You did?
I have.
Who'd you walk? Tell me your story. It's not so bad.
No. I'll keep it brief. But first high school boyfriend
Oh,
with my best friend at the time.
oh, great. That is so much better.
Is it? Because it was awful. It was awful. Yeah.
Oh,
was really
doesn't it
bad.
just
And-
destroy you? Oh my God.
And
Just
what was
destroys.
crazy is like, you know, all of a sudden done, I was just like, absolutely not done. Absolutely not. Like dated someone else. And he was like really creepily stalking me. And
Great. Fantastic.
he followed us leaving like the movie theater. And he was
What?
like road raging us almost off the road. Like he was blinking his high beam.
After he cheated?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, some
Great.
time had passed, obviously, and, you know, whatever. And he figured out like who it was that I was going on a date with. And he followed us because it's a local town, small town, and like followed us out leaving.
What is wrong with like when you're the perpetrator or like the abuser or the cheater?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they flip the script and act like you're the one that got away? Am I? Let me tell you what
Yeah.
got away in the first place. It was your peen that got in the way and ran.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's pretty wild. It's the nerve.
Oh, the nerve. Yeah, so I walk in and they're both stark naked, but he has her bent over. And I about died. Because what? Just let's reiterate this. This is my house. My name is on the lease. Only my name. Everything is paid for by me, including his car. And it was snowing, cats, and balls outside because it was Colorado. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I, you know, Kat, when I get upset, what happens?
I do. I
saw red, and like my Taurus was like, I am gonna combust. When I get mad, and once again, it takes so much to get me there. So
Yep.
I asked her. So they're standing there. They didn't see that I came in, and they didn't hear anything.
Oh my God.
And so I just calmly when I'm calm and there's a situation like that going on, like you should be so effing scared. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like run very fast. And
Yeah, because you're in control.
oh, yeah, it's very scary. So I was like, you need to go. You need to go right now. And by the way, if you're asking, it was Susie.
Oh, I remember. Yep. Mm-hmm. Fucking Susie.
Fucking Susie.
trust
Which I'm not
Susie.
saying he's not at fault. He's at fault too. I'm not saying. But anyway, she basically wanted him to be with her because she wanted my life. And I'm like, well, I'm laughing because like, you're not going to have it. He has nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
So she basically refused to leave the house because she thought it was his house.
Oh my God.
She's standing there arguing with me naked, by the way. And
Oh my God.
of course, he's ran. He covered himself and ran. Of course, he's a PUSSY. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ran.
Right.
He's hiding. He's trying to change. He's probably trying to figure, you know, if he can run out the back door to get away from me because he probably knew the rage that was about to ensue. And she's
Right.
basically saying she won't leave. And I was like, okay, well, then I'll just call the police, like, if you don't want to leave. You know what I mean? And
Right.
she was very small and petite next to me, by the way. But also, like, when my rage is at, like, a peak, I could probably, you know, throw someone like a
Devour
football.
anybody.
Yeah, pretty much. So I would gave her a chance. I said, okay, I'm going to, you know, I saw her clothes in a pile. I was like, I'm going to give you a chance to change. I'm going to give you a chance to get your clothes on. And she refused. And I said, I'm going to count to 10. And if you don't pick up your clothes in 10 seconds, I'm going to take it that you are trespassing and I will take matters into my own hands. So she's talking crap, you know. And I'm like, you're talking crap in my house. She once again still is reiterating she thinks this is his house. It's not my house. And so I'm standing there very calmly going 10, 9.
You did a countdown? No.
I did a countdown, and she didn't believe me what I was doing. I saw her keys, her phone. I saw where I'd already mapped where everything was. My Aquarius had mapped what I was going to do. So she refuses to leave because she thinks that he lives there. So I pick her up. I sling her over my shoulder naked. By the way, he's still not anywhere to be found. I have no clue. I don't know. He which is really nice. He like totally didn't even make sure she was okay.
I'm just thinking you quarterbacking just someone right over your shoulder.
I did. 5'5" on a good day, 130 pounds. Watch out. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
So I picked her up, slung her over my shoulder. I reached down with her on my shoulder. I grabbed her clothes. I found her keys. I got her shoes. I'm serious. She's kicking and hitting me. Of course she is. You know what I mean? But I wanted her out of my house. I was so mad. I was like, and I was tired from the flight. I had worked all weekend. Like I was not going to wait for the police to get there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I get all of her stuff. She's screaming, kicking. You know, I walk outside very calmly with her on my shoulder.
Wow.
I hope my neighbors didn't see this. Probably thought something weird was going on.
Well,
anyway, they had just plowed my street that morning because it was snowing. And I lived in a cul-de-sac, so they had right next to my house was a mound of snow.
Oh, heck yes. I see where this is going.
I threw her in the mound of snow with all of her crap.
Good. Bye.
And I turned around and walked back inside. And then I had to deal with him. And so when I came back in, he's, of course, you know, packing his stuff. He's leaving. I'm like, good, please hurry up. You know, let me know when it's done, you know?
Yeah.
And he was just he was trying to make excuses for himself. But I was so dumb with that relationship because I just loved him and wanted to make it work. I did end up trying to go back to him and make it work. I like looking back, I'm like, God, you're a dumbass.
No. I think that shows your empathy. That shows your empathy for sure.
He ended up having to move in with a friend though, and they let him stay in his basement because remember he had no money. He had no money.
Right.
He had nowhere to go. He had no family, no money. So and I'm like, yeah, you're not staying with me, you know. But he ended up getting in a relationship with Susie. This is the karma. Let's talk about full circle karma.
Oh, let's go.
He got in a relationship with her, and then like 6 months later, I got a text message from her asking me to call her. She'd had my number because of the friend group, okay? And I was like, what does she want? I haven't talked to him, you know? Susie had asked to call me 6 months later, or for me to call her. So I called her, and then she was crying, saying that she moved him in, same thing, and that he cheated on her.
Oh my God. What? That's wild.
He played the same thing out with somebody else.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, okay. You know what I mean? Okay. So anyway, yeah, that was like that was a karmic relationship for sure. I had another guy that proposed to me in a grocery store parking lot.
Oh, I remember that. Yes, I remember that. I remember you telling me about that.
Mortified.
That
was so embarrassed.
like, please put it away.
Plan something better.
A grocery store parking lot. Great. This is just every girl's dream.
I thought he dropped change. And I was like, what's he doing? He's getting down on one knee. And I was like, please stop. Please just don't do
You know
this
what?
right now.
You know what? You know what would be acceptable, though? Is proposing with a modern day Victorian toilet in a grocery store parking lot.
Toilet. Please present me with,
honestly,
with thy toilet.
Every girl's dream. Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's the little things.
I had some weird. You know, though, I am gonna say this. You can chime in too if you want. Like, you know, we can end the podcast soon. But Christian was the only dude that I swear could handle me. I am a lot. I am very driven. I have a lot of goals. And most men in my life, whether they're friends or not, really like to dim my shine and like put me in a cage.
Yeah.
Because like I'm a lot. So they try to control me and put me on a shelf and like keep me safe, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But Christian was a Libra sun. He was an Aries moon. And he was a Capricorn rising. He had a stellium in Scorpio that included Venus and Mercury.
Wow.
And, oh my God, that man.
Oh.
That man.
Oh, that was weird. Your audio cut out.
It did? What you didn't hear what I said.
All I heard was that man.
That man. Did you hear me talk about his placements?
Yes, I heard that. Yep.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Where's this placement? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Scorpio
Oh, Christian.
Venus is like, for a lot of people don't like that because Scorpio Venuses can get very obsessed with you. And like, well, Scorpio placements in general, you're a Scorpio. Is that how you act?
Scorpio. Oh, yeah. Scorpio rising. Absolutely. I'm all in, ride or die.
Okay. All right. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's probably why my Taurus gets with you then, because we're opposite on the wheel.
And
usually when you're
right.
opposing signs, they're sister signs. So that's probably another reason why we get along so well.
Yay. Love that.
But Christian, yeah, he was like, oh my God. I don't know. So anyway.
Krystal's blushing now.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, he's dead.
Oh, man. Oh,
he's
man.
Dead too. Everyone's dead.
Stop.
It's fine. You know what I mean?
Stop. Jeez. Krystal's like, it's just been a long life.
You've heard Christian on Spirit Box before, haven't you?
I've heard him a lot on the Spirit Box. Very low voice.
Yeah.
Very, very low voice. Very bassy baritone voice. Mm-hmm.
Well, he was a singer. Yep, he was a singer. There's something about like the Libra men that can sing. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. Must be a Libra thing.
Rules the throne. Yeah, it could be. It could be a Libra thing because you're the same. So.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, astrology is so important. I really just wish everyone would like follow it and like, soulmates and karmic partners. It's sad. I'm going through this thing right now where I'm just closing some cycles.
Yeah.
Kat saw it too. It's a lot of men from my past, not relationship, not romantically, but it's men from my past who I think have seen me level up and glow up. And they're sort of coming back in for one more karmic lesson to see if I'm really going to like push them out of my lives or not. I don't know how is that how you describe it?
Yeah, they're like testing the waters, I feel like. Kind of like poking the bear, but they got to be careful because then they'll get the sidestep and crab.
Oh man.
And they'll get shanked.
No, you'll get my Taurus will run you over.
That's true. And then my Scorpio stinger will come.
I'm just saying you're the nice one.
Until you cross my friends or family. And then I'm not nice.
I'm serious. Everyone that we have worked with, Kat and I, everybody thinks I'm the scary one and Kat is the nice one. And I'm like, the second you cross her, she's going to be like, with her tail. And I'm like, okay, if you think Kat's
Listen,
nice, okay.
I am very redemptive. Okay. I am all for chances. I'm all for accountability, all for it. But like, multiple times witnessing it to friends and family or myself, F around and find out because they'll see a side of Kat that's not, I just kicked my tripod again. I'm sorry. I'm getting amped up. My Scorpio's like, yeah, no, yep. And it's very just like, Yep. That version does not come out often, but when she does, run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, and when I get mad, I warn Kat. I'm like, okay, so this is how it's going to go down. I'm just going to explain it to you.
So,
give you a list.
Namaste. We're going to take a moment to talk about what's about to happen.
It's true.
It's like,
why do I do that?
It's very methodical. Yeah. It's very precise. And I honestly appreciate it. It's like a bullet point breakdown of what's about to happen. So there's no surprises. And I love that.
It is true, though. Yeah, I'll be like, I am angry, and this is why.
No, Krystal's like, here's a PowerPoint presentation.
Here's my Aquarius. I just hit my mic. I think we're both getting fire. I have made a bullet point list with my Aquarius moon before I engage in interaction.
And
I just want to let you know.
And it's alphabetized. It's completely alphabetized and organized. Yes. That's so funny.
Yeah, but it's true though. It does take a lot to really get me there.
Yeah.
But then, it's funny though, because then when people push me to that point, then they're like, God, Krystal's so mean. She's such a bitch.
Yeah, as if they didn't deserve it. Y'all know who you are. Okay.
You push me on the cliff and then I turn around and rage and then you're like, oh my God, Kat, can you believe how mean she is? And Kat's like, so what did you do?
And no.
Krystal is very tolerant.
I'm like, don't come to me. I'm like, don't come to me.
But everybody comes to you.
I know. Yeah.
We have a group, a friend circle, right? We'll just say that. We'll just leave it there.
Yep.
And if something happens between me and someone, everyone goes to Kat immediately. And Kat knows me best.
Yeah. Well, and you know, Krystal and I's friendship is like always clear, always communicative. And she's the first to know whatever DM I get.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, that's not.
That was your Scorpio too. You're laying out a rule. I hope everybody caught that rule.
Yeah. Like it's.
Kat's saying there are no secrets between
No,
us.
it's vetted. I mean, so many people have tried to get in between us anyway. And it's just never worked because our communication is impeccable. You know, before we respond, we're just like, wait, did you see this? Like, how should we deal with this? Because you gotta, especially when there are that many people involved.
Responding sometimes either when what you're going back to what you said earlier. If it's a karmic loop and it keeps happening, it's the same thing. You know, why do you want to keep reliving the same cycle? At some point, you're going to have to say, okay, like this is just going in circles. Like it's time to just like call it quits.
Yeah. Enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like sticking your hand through a meat grinder over and over again and coming out with the same result. It's not working, you know? So let it go.
Yeah. Don't put your hands in meat grinders. That's not fun.
Don't sing on toilets with Bluetooth lemon heads.
Yeah. Also that.
Actually, the boyfriend I made out with the lemon was the one that cheated with fucking Susie.
Plot twist. Oh my gosh. Okay. So if you're listening to this podcast, you need to listen to the one before this one to get the tea. Wow. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm dead serious. That man.
What?
Let me just say though, I was obsessed with that man. Okay. And
I know.
Okay. Can I just be real for right now?
Yeah.
Just be real.
Be real. Let's do it.
Because here's the thing, and I'm just being, I think this is so fun doing these podcasts because so many people have watched me for years on YouTube, but I really have never shared a lot of personal information.
Right.
So, like, for example, people thought that I was obsessed with Zach and in love with him.
Oh, please.
Like, actually.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? But my point of that is like people, that's the 8th house moon. People think they know me, but they actually don't. So that's them trying to pick and prod and trying to get to me because they're obsessed with wanting to know who I am. Girl, I'm so private, you're never gonna know me. Okay. This is how private I am. Literally, my phone number. There's only like 5 people on this planet that have my real phone number. Everybody else has a burner phone number, right?
It's true.
Nobody has my phone number, I swear. And there's reasons for that. I've been burned in the past where I had this guy in paranormal that had a crush on me and he put my number on a Craigslist ad.
He posted it.
That was cute.
Yeah, that was nuts.
So I learned from my patterns. But anyway, when I'm talking about this guy with the lemon, okay?
Yes.
Okay, I have such an attraction to men that have like changed their hair or do their hair. It doesn't need to be a certain way.
Just hair.
And he wore guy liner. Oh my God.
I'm dead. That's so funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even a musician, but he wore guy liner. Oh my God. I was pregnant in like 5 seconds. And he loved to dress well. Oh my God. Guys that dress well with like nice jeans and like band t-shirts and leather jackets. And they like get up in the morning and they wear cologne and they smell good. Like I'm a Taurus, right? My senses need to be triggered.
Yeah.
You don't need to look like the most handsome man in the world, like Brad Pitt. Like that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for energy. What kind of energy did you put in your looks? Like, are you caring about your appearance, your hair, guy liner?
Very metro. Very metro.
Yes, it's true. Actually, that guy with the lemon, he actually would get manicures often too. Just because he had really bad cuticles, and so he cared about himself. He was not
Love
gay.
that.
He cared about his appearance. I like guys that care
They
what
care.
they look like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It goes a long way.
People that wear hoodies and hats every day and cargo pants that look like your dad is not my type. So I hope I've made that clear by now, for God's sake.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Googly eyes.
Clear as a bell. I just googly.
Did you hear what I said? I didn't know if you caught it. I was like, she didn't catch it.
Oh my gosh. Googly. The Googles.
Googles. So, anyways,
Even Google glasses can't correct that.
but it's Scorpio. But do you have a placement you're really attracted to before we end the podcast, or like, you know what I mean, or have you found patterns or something like that?
Leo, for sure.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a fire sign. Is that good?
Probably not. Honestly, it's probably more karmic than anything, and I found that it is more karmic, but on an energy level, it's like the same. Because it's both, it's
Really?
fire. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's so I don't actually get along with I get along with Leo females. I don't get along with Leo men oftentimes.
I do not get along with Geminis or Virgos. Virgo women specifically, Gemini men, no.
Same.
Yeah.
My dad had like a stellium in Gemini. It was crazy.
That's wild. That's wild.
He had like 5 placements in Gemini. Like, it was insane. He was a Gemini sun. He was born on Marilyn Monroe's birthday, which is June 1st. But and my dad just, oh my God, we just I mean, we got along. He loved me. I'm his daughter. But oh man, did we not, we clashed, you know?
Yeah.
One of my most karmic relationships too, like the worst relationship I've ever been in my life was also another guy named Zach, not the one you think.
Oh, no, but, I know.
Oh, he was horrible. Oh my God, he was horrible. He was a Gemini. Oh my God, he was crazy.
Scary.
He was so manipulative. Yes, he was crazy. He thought he was a gangster. What was I thinking? I don't even know.
Gemini men are scary.
Podcast. But, and yeah, I agree. I don't get along with Virgo women and Capricorn women.
Yeah, Virgo women and Gemini men. Yeah, it just...
Virgo women for me are too analytical, which is really bad coming from an Aquarius moon.
Mm-hmm.
That's really bad. Because, like, if you want to talk analytical, I could sit there all day with you, okay? But Virgo women, I've noted, this is like literally, I'm not just talking shit. This is my personal experience. They overthink so much and they have to have perfection because they're so detail oriented.
Yep.
That they often will freeze to make a move. And then they'll come to me in a friendship and be like, hey, can you help me? And I'm like, okay, so like, you don't need to do things perfect. Like, life isn't perfect. Things aren't perfect. Like, just let it go. Because my Aries is in, I have so many placements in Aries. I'm like, go, you know what I mean? Like, don't worry about it. Just do it. My Aries is like, go. And then that actually usually pisses them off. So then the friendship ends.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So, but
I've always only ever been, what?
No, go ahead. You always what?
I've always been called arrogant by Virgo women.
Really?
Yeah, like they just can't stand me. I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing. I don't know.
I think it's like me. I think you're just confident, like within your spectrum of like you being a vocalist and a singer. And like, I think I just wish people knew that like there's no competition. It's society that has taught us there's competition.
Yep.
And like, energetically on the other side, you're one of one. No one's competing with you. So when you're here, you might as well embody and live your life to the fullest and be your fullest version of yourself unapologetically because no one's competing with you. But when you come in and like you and I both were just confident, I'm not being cocky. I just know who I am and I'm confident in it. That really makes people, you become a mirror. You become a mirror to people's unhealed traumas. And it makes them feel insecure, like you're sort of calling them out in a way. And you're like, I'm not calling you out. I'm just being myself and I'm encouraging you to do the same. But instead, that little ugly green monster of envy comes out instead.
Yeah, 100% agree. Yep.
So anyway, I know that's the tea. Just check I think this was kind of fun talking about it. I want to talk more
different.
Not tonight, but like, I think we should do another chat about like and you too, maybe relationships. I love talking about. Here's the thing. It's like, I've had some crappy relationships, but I really do love love, don't you?
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's the best thing.
Yeah, I really do love love. Like, it's hard finding that right person. And I got to find a Scorpio Venus that's a Libra sun, a Capricorn rising, and an Aries moon.
That's very specific. You can manifest that.
Very specific. Well, anyway, guys, that was so much fun tonight. This was kind of a chill podcast. Like, I know last week was super funny, and we'll do that again. I think it's going to be fun to kind of bounce back and forth and bounce all around.
Yeah.
And just
we're bouncing.
Sort of get to know Kat and I on a different level,
We're bouncing lemons.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Hopping from toilet to toilet.
He deserved that gnarly-ass lemon in his mouth.
He kind of deserved that then.
Maybe he deserved it.
He did.
Contacted me over the years, and he's had a long-term girlfriend. I'm like, can you stop now?
Yeah, no. It's guilt. It's guilt.
oftentimes I'll get guys that are like, you're the one that got away. I'm like, you're the one that broke up with me. So how did I get away?
Right. Make better choices.
Make much better choices.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
Don't be a hoe and keep your ding-a-ling in your pants. But
Yeah.
clearly, men in paranormal really can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm dead. No, they can't. Most of them. If not all.
Most of them. Yeah. Oh, on the end note, can we just briefly talk about poor Aaron testifying against his wife?
Yeah, that was heartbreaking. It was a video of Aaron testifying in court. Yeah. About, what's been going on. Yeah, he was crying. Poor thing. Poor thing.
Oh, my heart. I'm sick for him.
She deserved longer. She deserved longer in jail.
What'd she get, 3 years or something?
Only 3 years.
And then he said she'd been cheating with multiple men in the beginning of September. He offered to give her a divorce. She said no. She wanted to save the marriage. She was still planning on killing him, unaliving him, up until the day she got caught by the detectives.
Wild. Not right.
And he said she spiritually got married to that killer in jail.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So it's just like, I don't know, my brain just cannot. And then apparently her attorney was like bullying Aaron so that he wouldn't testify in court. Probably they were scared it was going to give her a longer sentence if he testified because he's famous.
As it should.
But I don't know that you're right, 3 years. But I'm telling you, the justice system in Vegas is so screwed up.
The justice system all around is just messed up.
I know.
Everything needs a revamp. Our government needs a revamp. The court system needs a revamp. Everything.
Everything needs a revamp. We need a purge, not a real purge.
We need not a real purge. Please, no.
I meant purge the government, not. Wait, that also didn't sound right. I don't want to go kill the government. That's not what I meant.
We just need a restart button. Restart button.
It's just not working anymore. You know? There was something they said today that they're trying to pass a bill where if you are a woman of a certain age, like between the ages of like 25 and 45, and if you don't have children, that they can legally prosecute you.
Is that state by state, or is it?
I don't know, but I think it's stupid no matter what.
Yeah, that's ridiculous to enforce that.
Because they're saying there was something, it was based off of some book. Like, I don't want to quote because I don't have everything in front of me, but it was something like that women were basically born to birth children, and if they're not having kids, then because the birth rate's low, that they'll have to be punished one way or another.
Oh, please.
Because basically we're baby machines is what they're saying.
Yeah, it's no. This isn't the freaking Stone Ages anymore, okay? Please.
Well, also, like, a woman can only get pregnant for 3 or 4 days out of the month. A man can get a woman pregnant every single day with his... I sound like Elle Woods, okay?
I mean,
like,
we're severely overpopulated anyway. And economically it's a mess. Environmentally, it's a mess. Humanely, it's a mess right now. It's like, we'd be doing a service to not, Well,
I think that's what they want. Like, they want people to be poor and broke and on food stamps.
Yes.
So that you just keep procreating and then you're forced to be part of the workplace.
Eesh.
You know what I mean? Like, you're a mule, essentially. But I think millennials especially are just, we're both fed up with it at this point. You know what I mean? So it's just
crazy.
This isn't for discussion and my personal opinion on that. So
yep, agreed. 100%. That's some dark
honestly,
stuff.
No offense, but like, I've dated some really loser men that like have no jobs, that like I've always been the bread earner. Can the guy, and like there's a male loneliness epidemic. I can see why. Step it up, bromies.
Amen.
The dudes need, you want me to, like, you want to borrow my uterus for 9 months to make a baby? Then how are you going to pay for it? You want me to also work and provide for the house? Probably not.
Dang.
God.
This world.
Anyways.
This world.
I know, it's crazy. It's just weird. It's a weird time we're living in. It just feels like the 1600s all over again. And I'm about to burn at the stake. So everyone get in line.
Well, I already got fired from church. So, great start.
Oh my God, Kat. I just died
It's
every
fine.
time you said. I was laughing last episode when you're like, "My mom, I didn't bend." I was like, "Oh my God, Kat."
It's true.
Jesus.
I broke that curse. Truly. She believed the rhetoric of the church. She believed that. Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm not writing a letter. I don't need to repent.
Dude, but like, and I know we want to end the podcast, but like, serious question, like, and I'm not trying to like sound fear-based. It's generally serious. When they say stuff to you, like you need to repent, you'll basically go to hell for like using tarot cards. I know you don't believe it, but like, what is your perception on that fear?
Ignorance. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
I mean, the organized religion and Christianity in and of itself has never wanted to praise truth. I mean, look at Adam and Eve. I was just having this discussion recently. They got in trouble for eating an apple of truth, of knowledge, outside of what they were placed in. Why is that considered evil? Why wouldn't they want more for themselves?
Because she said, no, I won't mate with Adam. Now I'm a demon. Are you serious?
Or that, and then with Lilith, yeah.
Yeah, that's like teaching women that, you don't have to have consent, essentially, if a man wants to do whatever he wants to you. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely not.
I know.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
It's fear-based. And like, I really think that when the Bible was created, I mean, I do think some things are real in it, obviously, but I think it was definitely meant to manipulate the society, to make women walk 2 steps behind men, and it put men in control, in which they are now.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was only up until the 70s or 80s when a woman could even have her own bank account. That's crazy.
It was definitely that time, of course. But I also think in modern days, a lot of churches and organized religions are cherry picking Bible verses to fit their viewpoint. Yeah. And that's honestly even more dangerous than what was put into the Bible, because I feel like, whatever was put in the Bible is just whatever, like they can believe that it was a different day and time, women were low and the men were revered and like whatever, that's a thing. But it's another to cherry pick Bible verses to enact like law. You know what I mean? And cause fear and stone someone's death, or, it's just like, read your book, but just like leave it at that. Leave it at reading the book. It's wild. And to instill fear, exactly. Look at the Crusades. All those people.
Like I said, I wasn't born into as much religion history as you, background as you, but it is weird for me to witness and see, I don't know. I mean, even the women getting stoned, and essentially what it really comes down to, if you really go back, is like they wanted to disconnect everyone from source by saying the only way to connect to source is to pay me a fee when you come in here and do communion, and you can only pray to God in my house. So that's what it caused for many, many years, is that everyone disconnect from their higher self, everyone disconnected from their spirit team. And the only way to do it is through the church and through the Bible. And that's unrealistic.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, people need to remember and wake up that you can access that at any given point. You know what I mean? So
yep.
I've asked my guides about religion before, and they literally go like, they like slap their hand in the air, like, we're not even going to talk about it. Like, it's like...
It's a long story.
Like, tell me like things that are true in the Bible and what aren't. They're like, it's just too much. You don't want to know. Like,
there's a lot going on there.
Like, okay, because I'll say stuff like, do you really go to hell for like this, that, and the other? And they're like, just go back to paranormal.
It's fine.
Stupid.
Just no.
It's a human fear, is basically what they say. Is what I just heard. It's a human fear. So anyway, I had fun tonight. It was so much fun to hang out. We'll have to do another chat. I don't know what we'll do next week, but today's the full moon, so now all of the witches rise tonight at 3:44 a.m. Eastern time. It'll be 1 a.m. my time. Get out your moon water. Thank you guys for tuning in. This will be uploaded as a podcast and a YouTube video. Love you as always. Thank you, Kat. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.